Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and this will be one of my final videos for a little bit. Um, this is me giving you an understanding of what I would do with Ben Affleck's script and add a little bit more to it, the Batman. And again, I'm gonna iterate to you. I want to see what Matt Reeves can give. I'm not very happy with Robert Pattinson as Batman. I don't like the fact of Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman and Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, and the pandering of POC into characters that makes absolutely no sense. There's nothing wrong with a white Irish Commissioner James Gordon. He's supposed to be Irish. It seems that everyone has a huge hard on to getting rid of Irish people out of comic books. Seems like the redheaded stepchildren are being run out of comics. All right. However, I'm not going to get into a rant about that. This is about the script for the Batman. Now, how I would set it up is the main players of this is Deathstroke, the Mad Hatter, Penguin, Two Face, the Joker, um, Harley Quinn, Commissioner Gordon, Barbara Gordon, Richard Grayson, and Batman himself, and a mystery character. Now, one of the big things that I want to stipulate is this is coming off of BVS into Justice League and then post Justice League. So you're getting uh, uh, a past sequence, and then it goes right into the story. So the past sequence is Batman gets information about a break-in. So somebody broke into Arkham Asylum, and he's wondering what the heck is going on. So he goes to Arkham Asylum, and the whole place goes on lockdown. So he's locked down into Arkham Asylum, which is what he wanted to do in the first place. This will be the first portion of the movie. Now, the last portion of the movie is outside of Gotham, and he's finding out that there's a lot more going on, and it comes out to be one of the biggest arcs that I would lean Ben Affleck into doing with the Batman character. And a lot of this is hinting to one of the biggest arcs in all of Batman's stories. So you have Bruce in with all of his worst criminals, and all of them are getting released out of Arkham, and he has to battle them all. He has to go into different sections of Arkham Asylum and have to deal with them. Some of them he's able to dispatch. Others he had to really kind of do a ring around. Um, until he's confronted with Deathstroke. Deathstroke presents a huge challenge to him, and he has to basically defeat Deathstroke. He defeats Deathstroke, but it seems like this was a very easy defeat. But when he goes in to find out what the heck is going on, Deathstroke gets out. I mean, Deathstroke leaves. He disappears, and he realizes that it's Lex. Lex is gone. That all of this was just a ploy to get Lex Luthor out of Arkham Asylum. And as he looks over the whole situation, he realizes that this has been all a ploy, and now he gets information from Alfred that there's something going on inside of the heart of Gotham. So a good chunk of the movie is, I would say, probably about 45 minutes. Now I know people are gonna go, "Are you kidding me? 45 minutes for all that?" There's a lot more going on. This movie is about almost close to 3 hours. And the reasoning why is 45 minutes is more than enough to get some good fight sequences, and also give you a good core of the story about where this is going to be in the grander scheme of the DCEU. Then the rest of the movie, the next, I would say, 2 hours of the movie, Bruce is getting more and more information that Deathstroke is out there. So he goes after Deathstroke to find out what the heck is going on. It's one of the worst types of things he's ever doing. However, this is going to be taking place after Justice League. So during the whole situation in Arkham, we're watching a weathered, beaten Batman taking on Deathstroke, and Deathstroke gets a good amount of hits on him. He almost rips up his suit. He overpowers him. He makes him look like he's not the right person for the job, and it starts to show that he's not in his right mind. So now this is post Justice League. So this is right after Justice League, and Bruce gets back on the trail to find Lex. He hasn't told Clark or the rest of the league that Lex escaped out of Arkham Asylum, he feels that it's his responsibility to find Lex and bring him back. So he goes on to this huge quest to find where Lex Luthor is, but he runs into so many roadblocks because one of the enemies that he has to deal with is the Penguin. The Penguin is one of the biggest gun runners in all of Gotham, and he has to basically deal with him. So a good chunk of the movie he has to deal with the Penguin, and also he has to deal with some ramifications that some of his villains broke out of Arkham while he was in the midst of dealing with Deathstroke. So he has to go after Penguin, and he also has to go after Pamela Isley, which you're getting the Pamela Isley that basically is tired of dealing with Batman. She doesn't want to deal with Batman. She wants him to leave him alone. And also she's longing for something, and also she really isn't being the villain. She's just saying, stay away from me and I'll stay away from Gotham. I just in my solitude, I'm realizing the error of my ways. But Batman is telling her, stay straight or I will come after you and I will take you out. And she kind of nods and she basically goes back to her plans. So he leaves Pamela alone. He leaves her alone. But he's getting more messages that something else is going on. He's getting like a trail of breadcrumbs, and he doesn't understand what the heck is going on. But things are starting to become, in flashbacks, you're getting Jason Todd, a lot about Jason Todd. Like this is sounding more and more like Jason Todd. That Jason was led by the nose by the Joker until his eventual death. So that's what you're kind of getting from the story. And Bruce gets into a lot of bad situations where the city is thinking like Batman is still a murderer. They don't want to deal with him. Gordon is telling Batman that, hey, the people still feel that, there's a lot of stuff going on and they can't trust you. Batman is telling Gordon that he's not the same person he used to be, but he's going to be better. He's going to work better. And when they defeated Steppenwolf, he's seen more than what the heck he needed to see, and he feels that this is all one huge responsibility. So Gordon is trying to tell him, well, who broke out? And he tells him it was Lex. Lex broke out. He goes, no, that's impossible. Lex is still in there. He goes, no, it's not. It's not. Lex broke out. He left someone else in his charge. But I don't want you to worry about it because I will find him. So he says, well, you're the only one who could, so go ahead. So Batman's back on the case, looking for Lex, trying to, piece together how the heck he got out of Arkham, and also how the heck did he get out of the country. So he's realizing that it was Deathstroke. Deathstroke got him out of the country, and he goes to Morocco. So you have Batman going to Morocco, asking a whole bunch of questions, and he's going on this huge quest, and that's when he confronts Deathstroke again, and they have this huge confrontation. Not Deathstroke, but more of Slade Wilson. They have a huge fight inside of a cantina, and Batman gets defeated inside of the cantina, thrown out of a window, right into a car, and Deathstroke gets the heck away. Batman goes after him, puts on his suit in the middle of the situation, and goes after him. And probably one of the best chase scenes you're ever going to see. It's all one take, him running through buildings, sliding across floors, using his batarangs to destroy certain areas of the buildings because he knows that nobody's in them. They're dilapidated, and Deathstroke is trying to get away. Batman uses his grappling hook and gets back onto the rooftop, and he continues running after him. Deathstroke is telling him that he says, you're still not the same person that took me down all those years ago, Batman. How can you do it now? You're getting old. And Bruce is telling him, he goes, old is a state of mind. I don't recognize that. So he keeps going, but his body is slowly starting to weather. He knows this. Deep down he knows it, but he's trying to fight through it all. And also because of the situation happening in Justice League, him revealing to Diana that he still feels responsible for what happened to all those people that he murdered back in BVS, it's weighing him down. and Deathstroke is just making him realize that he's not the same person he used to be. Now, again, I'm telling you, this is literally after Justice League. He is the same Batman, but he's still plagued with this, and he feels that he still has responsibilities, and he has to live up to those responsibilities. Now, he basically confronts Deathstroke again. They have a huge fight, probably one of the best fights you're ever going to see in this portion of the movie. And basically, Batman defeats him. He finally defeats him. He basically breaks his sword, hits him square in the side of his kneecap, busts his kneecap down, and hits him so hard in his jawline it actually makes his head turn. It snaps his neck, and then he basically grabs him and chokes him out. He puts him in a triangle hold and basically chokes him out. He chokes out Deathstroke and cuts off his oxygen and knocks him out. He makes a phone call, calls Argus, and Argus comes and picks him up, but he meets somebody that he didn't think he would ever going to meet, and he meets Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller tells him that he's been looking for Slade for a very, very long time. He tells her flat to her face, do not put him in that little group of yours. He's too dangerous. She says, the only danger that I see is you still running around here, murderer. And Batman just looks at her, and he looks at her with disgust, like, you are so hell bent. Okay. He goes, if this blows in your face, don't expect me to save you. I will stop you if it has to be. And he walks away. And she kind of throws the whole Playboy thing at him, but he just ignores her and gets away. So you get Bruce back at the Batcave, and that's when Superman flies in and asks him. He goes, Bruce, what the heck is going on here? And Batman is kind of sighing to himself, and he turns around in his chair. You have Alfred just kind of looking, and Bruce stands up in front of Clark, and he says, there's something I should have told you a long time ago. He goes, okay, what the heck is going on? So he tells him that, okay, you heard about the breakout in Arkham Asylum, right? He goes, yeah. He goes, there's a lot I didn't tell you because I didn't want it to get out that this is going on. He goes, what the heck? And he kind of goes, Lex, right? And he goes, yeah, he's out there. He goes, then I'll find him. He goes, no, I don't want you involved. He goes, no, Lex is my problem. Lex, he goes, I know what Lex did, but this is my problem. You need to focus on the planet. You need to be that hero. You need me to be that person that's going to be relentless to go after the bad guys. He goes, you don't need to do that anymore, Bruce. He goes, and Bruce looks at him and says, he looks at him and he literally says, you don't think I can do it. He goes, it's not that. He goes, and they have a huge spat. They have a huge argument about, is Bruce still the Batman? Is he still that same person? And Bruce illustrates to him that he's still that person. Give me an opportunity to bring him to justice. Bruce and Clark looks at him and he says, okay, all right, bring him to justice. He goes, bring him to me and we'll both bring him in. He goes, all right, let me find him first. So, and he goes, and he looks at him and Superman flies off and he goes back to Metropolis. And Alfred looks at Bruce and tells him, that's the first time. He goes, I know. He goes, I guess you can teach a dog new tricks. And Bruce looks at Alfred and just kind of snickers a little bit and walks and sits back down in his chair and looks at his computer screens. So he's tapping on his computer screens and he's looking at something and it gets into his eye and he looks at it very quickly and he sees something and he goes, that's impossible. And he taps onto the screen and you see it zooms in, and he sees this individual in the shadows with a helmet on his head. And that right there tells you it's the Red Hood. And he's like, and he stands up and he walks down and then he looks down at the suit and he sees that the Robin suit is still there. And then he walks over, he goes, that's impossible. He goes, and Alfred's like, what's going on? He goes, I gotta go. I gotta go. And he leaves, and that's when he grabs the device. He looks into a drawer and grabs the device and closes it and walks out. Alfred's like, what the heck is going on? So you see Alfred walking up, and you see Bruce walking up the stairs, and he walks through the graveyard. He sees his mom and his dad's grave. He walks over, and he sees a tombstone, and you see him tapping he's tapping something on a device, and it starts to read, and you see and he looks up and you see the headstone, and it says Jason Todd, and he's going, it can't be, and he goes, it can't be. And then that's when you hear a young man screaming out the word, Bruce, help me. And he hears an explosion, and you see, Bruce close his eyes, and he's twitching his head to the side because it's like he doesn't want to hear it anymore. He's constantly always haunted by the death of Jason Todd. And then when the scan was complete, he looks down and it says negative, and he walks off, he turns around, and that's when and you hear his music. And he walks down the stairs, and Alfred's like, Master Wayne, what is going? He goes, and his eyes have this look of fear and horror, not to the point of like absolute fear and absolute horror, but just like astonishment. And he's like, he's alive. And he goes, and Alfred's like, who? And then Bruce walks off, and he says, I gotta go. And he goes, Master Wayne, what is going on? Mr. Wayne. And he puts on his bat suit, jumps into the Batmobile, and drives off. He goes back to Arkham Asylum and starts canvassing the scene, and he sees a piece of evidence, and it shows like a matchbook, and it says Matches Malone. And he goes, and then he looks at it, and he picks it up and walks off. He goes back to Morocco, and he looks through the cantina, and he sees another piece of evidence, and it's a button clip. It's a button. And he goes, and he looks at it, and he's like, he walks off again. You're like, what the heck is going on? And he goes back to Wayne. He goes back to the Wayne Tower, and there's a little paper, and there's a little pin. It's a little like a hairpin. He picks it up and looks at it, and he analyzes it, and he walks off, and it's like a trail of breadcrumbs, and he's not picking it up. Now he is picking it up. So he goes back to the Batcave, and Bruce and Alfred is wondering what the heck is going on. Who's leaving all these little things around? He goes, it can't be. He analyzes the evidence, and he says, there's only one person that knows about these things. There's only one person that understands my mind that way. It can't be. And he looks at, and he says, analyze the fingerprints on all these items. He goes, you're thinking you think this individual is he? Of course this person is. So he analyzes it, and it shows 3 different levels of fingerprints. He labels it, he flattens them all together to make a full fingerprint, and he analyzed the fingerprint through his database, and it says match found, and it shows a picture of Jason Todd. And he's like, and Alfred's like, but that's impossible. He goes, no, it's not. And then it shows frantic that he walks, and he walks off. He puts his hand on the banister overlooking the Batcave, and you see this look on his face, like it. And then you see the Joker laughing hysterically as he's beating this poor person into the ground with a wrench, and he's screaming in absolute pain. And you see Harley just sitting there chewing some bubble gum, blowing bubble gum, and just sitting there smiling. But then it starts to show her just looking like this is not right. And then the Joker sitting there just laughing, and as he's pounding the flesh off this kid. And then he basically straps bombs onto his body and clicks the device. And Harley's like, Mr. J. He goes, and he grabs her by her arm and twists it really, really hard. And she goes, ow! And he goes, let's go, Buttercup. And they leave. Bruce is getting on the Batmobile, and he's in the Batmobile driving up to the building. And as he gets out and he runs up, he hits the door, and he sees the boy's body. As he gets up, he goes, get out now. And he goes, no. And he sees the device. He goes, no. And then he tries to run, but then the explosion hits him so hard, he flies out of the building, lands very, very hard onto his back. It actually rips the suit completely off his body, and he's just laying there in a pool of his own blood. He finally wakes up. He stands up. He's groaning in absolute pain. He gets up and he looks and he sees the building completely destroyed. And you see Bruce just drops to his knees and he's crying because half his suit is destroyed. You can see. I mean, his face is almost exposed. So anybody can walk and go, "Hey, you're Bruce Wayne." So then he gets up and he struggles back to his Batmobile, opens the door up and gets in, and he gets back over to Alfred. And that's where we get to the picture that you see here. He's laid out in his suit. He's laid out still in the suit. It's off his body. His face is all weathered and beaten up, and he's holding the mask, and he's showing anger. And his music, the music that he has is his original music, but then it shifts slowly to the dun 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 dun, that the BVS Batman, and you see him just furiously with anger in his face, and you see his eyes completely shift, and he gets up, and it's like, and Alfred's like, "Master Wayne, you need to rest." He goes, "Rest is for the dead. It's time. I need to find the Joker." And he goes, and Alfred runs over and goes, "No, no, no, Master Wayne, don't do this." And he looks at Alfred and he pushes him out of the way, and he leaves. And that's when you get his music, the dun, 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 dun. And then he is on a bloodbath rage. He's going after Carmine Falcone, beats the living daylights out of every person that he sees. He's breaking bodies, breaking bones. And he's screaming out, "Where is he?" He's grabbing people, throwing them through walls, smashing their faces through glass, smashing their bodies through as much wood, and he's just breaking bodies, breaking bone. And Carmine's like, "I don't know what the hell you're talking about." He walks over, and Carmine's an old man. He grabs him by his throat, walks him out to the outside of his window, breaks the window, and pulls him out and holds him out there. And he tells Carmine, "I know you know where he is. You're gonna tell me, or we're gonna see if the Falcone can truly fly." And he grabs him by his foot and twists him and holds him out there by his leg. He's screaming, and he goes. He ties something over to his foot, and he goes, "I'm losing my grip here." And he goes, "The Joker blew up the building, and I'm still in pain. I might not be able to hold you." He goes, "Oh," and he goes, "I don't know where he is." He goes, "That's not the right answer." And he drops him, and he goes, "Ah!" And then he pulls the rope that he put on his leg, and it snaps, and that's when you hear a, and Carmine screams in pain. He goes, "That's your leg snapping. Tell me what the heck I need to know, or something else is gonna break." He goes, "Okay, I heard." He tells me he heard it. He's over at the docks. He heard him. He's at the Pink Flamingo. He goes, "Good." He picks him up. He ties him up, and then you see Gordon walking in, going, "Hey, Batman, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm gonna get rid of him now." He goes. They're like, "No, no, Batman, don't do this." And he jumps out the window, and he goes to the Pink Flamingo. And the Pink Flamingo is a bar. So he basically goes over there. Joker's just sitting there just smiling, and you have Harley just dancing seductively for him. And everybody's sitting there going, "Dude, he seems very happy." He goes, "He's the Joker." He goes, "No, he seems even more happy." And that's when they hear a thump. And then that Joker went, "He's here." They're like, "What?" And then they're hearing, da, 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 ah! And you hear smashing, and Joker's like, and Harley's like, "Mr. J, is that what is supposed to happen?" He goes, "He's finally at that point. He's ripe, ready to do this. He's feeling it. He's ready." He gets up and he goes, "All right, boys, it's time to take care of the bat. He's angry. Blast him. Once you see him, shoot him." And then that's when the lights go out, and you only have the little spectral lights, and then out of nowhere you see him just show up, grab a dude, disappear. Guys are going, "Huh?" And the yelps, and then that Joker's like, "What the hell?" And then out of nowhere, one guy and out of nowhere one guy gets snapped, another one. He's just taking out his men, and the lights come back on, and his men are gone, and you see Batman just standing there, and Joker's like, Fine. And he throws a batarang right at him, and it goes right into his hand. He goes, ah! And then Batman punches him so hard. You see a tooth just fly out. He goes, he looks at him and goes, you're going to do it, aren't you? And he goes, and he grabs him and just picks him up and throws him through a wall, throws him through a door. He smashes him through a door. Harley grabs her mallet and just tries to smash at him. He looks at it and just backhands the mallet so hard, it actually smashes it. It destroys it in pieces. She's like, he grabs her by her face and just completely just picks her up and smashes her right into the table. And he tells her right to her face, don't get up. And she goes, yeah, I'm gonna sleep right here, bats. And she just goes right out. He's basically done. And he goes over, and then the Joker's gone, and then he goes after the Joker, and that's when they have this huge fight in an alleyway, and then he kicks him over to the side, and he pulls out this gun. You see Batman looking up, and he sees this gun reaching down at him, and he's sitting there, and he's grimacing him to bear it. But when he looks around, it's Park Row. Pink Flamingo is a bar that's in the same alleyway as his parents' death. When his parents died, it was in this alleyway, and he's about to die in the same place his mother and father died. Now, you can stipulate that this scene is that the Joker knows that Batman's Bruce Wayne. No, it's just coincidence. And Joker basically about to pull the trigger, and Batman instantly just gets up, grabs the gun as it blows. Joker's like, what? And he hits him so hard in the chest. It just basically knocks the complete wind out of him. And you hear a pop, like a popping noise, and he goes, ugh! And Batman grabs him and one arm throws him completely over into some barrels. And then that's when you hear a shot, and it hits Batman and knocks him over. And you see Harley running over with one of Joker's guns, and Joker's sitting there going, no, I want this. He goes, get up. He pushes it away to the side. He goes, no, we end this. He pulls out a Bowie knife, flips it around, and goes after Batman. Batman gets up with a freaking gunshot in the side, and they have it out. It's one of the most brutal fights you're ever gonna see. And he breaks Joker's arm. He punches him so hard in his mouth that his teeth start falling out. He grabs him by his face, picks him up, and just completely throws him all over the place. Harley's like, she runs over and hits him so hard with a baseball bat, it just makes him go, argh! And she runs over, grabs the Joker, and gets up, and they get into a car, and they drive away. Batman is getting up, and he goes, and again you hear that, duh, 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 and he runs after them, uses a grappling hook, gets along, and starts floating along. She's sitting there driving, Joker's sitting there going, what'd you do that for? And she goes, he's gonna kill you, Mr. J. I can't allow that to happen. He looks at her and goes, you stupid bee. He calls her a bee. He puts a gun to her side, and she goes, are you gonna kill me? Are you gonna kill the both of us? I'm trying to save you. And he goes, I never asked you to do this. This is between me and the bat. Stop the car. And she goes, no. And she basically knocks the gun out of the side and basically goes, she moves the car and knocks him out of the way. Batman throws a batarang, and it basically undercuts the car, blowing the car up. They flip over and land. He drops down to the ground, walks over. Joker gets out of the car, and Joker gets up and goes, he goes, where you at, bats? And then boom. And then you see the Joker just laid out, being dragged, and then he basically you see Batman dragging him over, and you see him pull him up and pushes him over the side of the building. Joker's looking at him going, so you're finally gonna do it, aren't you, Bats? And he goes, and Batman just goes, you've taken too many lives. You've taken too many people away from this world. One less psychopath for us to deal with. One less clown. And he goes, He goes, oh, so that's what it turns out to be. He goes, if you do this, you prove me right. This whole time, Batman, it's always going to be between you and me. It's always going to be between you and me. And Batman just, and you hear the music of him, the dun, 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 and he's just, and he goes, what, you can't do it, you can't do it, and he goes, and he's getting frantic. He drops on the ground. And you see him just hold his face, and the gunshot, and him reach out and goes, Martha, and he goes, and then Joker goes, "Ah!" and pushes him over the edge, and he falls. And then he falls all the way and smashes right into a car, and Joker gets away. And then we get the whole situation that happened we get the whole situation that happened in Suicide Squad, where Batman, recovers from his injuries and he goes right after the Joker, and he gets Harley and throws her in jail, but Joker gets away. But him not getting Joker, saving Harley instead of Joker, saving Harley instead of stopping the Joker, it's what broke him, because he's tired of playing this dance. And when he confronts the Joker again, he's looking at him, and he just says, I'm done. And Joker's like, what do you mean done? And he walks away. He goes, and he walks away, and Joker's like, where are you going? We're not done. This is the game we always play, Bats. If you let me go, I'll kill more people. Like that pretty little bird. And you're like, whoa. Like, he just walks out on the Joker. He's like, I'm done. I'm done. And Joker's like, ah! He's screaming, and he's like, and he screams, and you're like, wow. And you see Batman just looking over the edge, and he's like, and you have Alfred walk over, and he's asking him, how can he be alive, Master Wayne? And then that's when you hear, because I'm the one that did it, detective. He turns around, and you see Ra's al Ghul right there, and he goes, you, why? And he goes, and he tells him that this boy did not deserve death. It was my fault. I'm the one that led the Joker on this merry path. I'm the one that supplied the Joker with the information. He goes, it was my foolish errand. And he basically grabs Ra's and punches him in the gut and walks over and about to throw him over the edge. And he says, if my death will give you some level of peace, Bruce, then do it. And Batman's in there going, but you know as much as I do that you know who's behind all of this. It's him. You need to stop him. He goes, why? He goes, how the heck did this happen? He goes, I told you the secret of how I've been around for so long. He tells him about the Lazarus Pit. Now, you don't get a whole backstory about the Lazarus Pit, but he talks about the Lazarus Pit, that he uses the Lazarus Pit to actually rejuvenate his already dead cells, and it actually rejuvenates it back to prime age. So the more he keeps taking it, the more he keeps it rejuvenates his life. However, it degrades much faster. That's the negativity. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It actually degrades his mental state. So he becomes more and more insane. And he also stipulates that the reasoning, he goes, when I dipped that poor boy into the Lazarus Pit to bring him back, it turned him even worse. It made him worse. He goes, it was my hubris that actually created this monster. He goes, I know you will never be able to forgive me, Bruce, but I thought that this was the way to help you. That is why I never bothered you when you had these children in your life. So you got Bruce looking at Ra's, and he's about to throw him over the edge, and Alfred's just sitting there going, Master Wayne, don't do this. He goes, remember your promise. And he goes, I made a promise. And he throws him over the side. He goes, yes, of course, your promise to the God that you will never fail him and you won't do it again. But I want you to realize that this boy is going to be the ruination of your legacy. That this boy is going to destroy everything that you ever hold dear. So you need to stop him. So you basically have Bruce realizing that Jason Todd is alive. So he makes a phone call and you hear him say, excuse me, you hear him say, I need to talk to you. And he goes, please, I need, and you're a, and he hangs up, and Alfred's like, he wouldn't come, would he? No, he's too angry. And he walks off. So you're like, what the heck? Who did he call? So then you see a young man just as a police officer, and you see him go. He's arrested a guy, throws him in the back of the wagon, and he looks up and goes, and he tells his partner, hey, go ahead and go back. I'm gonna continue looking at canvas the scene. He goes, you sure about this? He goes, yeah, go ahead. He goes, all right, Rick. He gets in, drives off, and he clicks his mouth and goes, walks over into an alleyway, stops and goes, what do you want? He turns around and there's Bruce, and he goes, I told you I would never want to see you again. He goes, and then that's when Bruce looks at him. He takes off his helmet, and Richard's like, I mean, this guy looks at him and goes, and you know who it is? It's Richard Grayson. And Richard Grayson's telling him, I don't want nothing to do with you. Why the hell are you here? And he goes, and Bruce takes off his helmet, and he's looking down, and he literally says, he's alive. What? What the hell are you talking about? He goes, he's alive. Jason's alive. He tells him Jason's alive. He goes, no, you know what? We're not gods. So he goes, it was Ra's al Ghul. He used the Lazarus pit. He goes, how? When the heck did this happen? He goes, I don't know. But I can tell you right now, please, I need your help. And he goes, I haven't. He goes, I know you have not been. You haven't been Robin in years, and I want to give you your space, but this is something I need your help in. He go, and then you have Richard sitting there telling him, get out of the suit. Let's get some coffee then. And then they go to this little diner, and the guy goes, hey Rick, and he goes, hey, how you doing? He goes, you know who this is? He goes, this is my friend Bruce Wayne. They're going, Bruce Wayne, hey yo. He goes, what is a suave guy like you doing in a slutty bar like this? I mean, hey, let me clean this. He goes, nah, it's okay. So he sits down. He goes, no, let's get a booth over here. So they basically goes, hey, just bring us a couple of drinks. He goes, all right, no problem. So he goes, you guys need anything? He goes, no, I'm not hungry. So they go and sit down, and he says, and they talk about it, and he says that he talks about Jason. He talks about Jason, and that the fact that he knows that Jason's alive, but he can't figure out why Jason is coming after him. He can't understand why all this is going on. And Richard says, well, can you blame him? He trusted you. He trusted you more than anybody else, and you let him down. And he goes, and you're like, wow, like, whoa, this is very deep. It's very messed up. But Richard is trying to tell him, like, hey, you screwed up on me. You screwed up on everything else. You brought me into this lifestyle, not telling me the ramifications of it. So they have this huge talk, and then Bruce is going, he's here. I can feel him. He goes, man, you're always on alert. He goes, he stands up, walks over, and then that's when you hear pew, 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 and he grabs Richard and takes him to the ground, and pew, 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 and he looks up, and Richard looks up, and they see this person on the rooftop, and this person waves and runs, and they're going, come on. And then they go after him, and you have this huge chase scene where Batman and Dick Grayson are running, and Dick is in his cop uniform. He's not in Nightwing uniform. And he go and Batman and Bruce is running after him. They're running after him. They jump. They jump over rooftops. This. And then Richard goes, "Hey, give me one of your batarangs." He tosses him a batarang, and then when he makes this huge jump, Richard throws the batarang and it just goes, and he kind of smirks a little bit, and the Red Hood turns, kicks the batarang away, and throws another one in its place as he's still in mid-flight and jumps down. And Richard's like, "What the?" And Bruce catches it, and they stop, and they stop at the edge. You see him just float down and land right out and tumble right onto another rooftop. He looks over and does a salute and runs. And then Richard's like, "That's impossible. Who the heck?" He goes, "I know. There's only a few people in the world that could do something like that. Dinah is one, which we know that's not Dinah. Me, you, and Jason. There's only a handful. Even Oliver can't do that." And that's your toss. That's right there. That's telling you that Oliver is in this universe. And Dinah, which is Laurel, the Black Canary. He says that. He says, "No, there's only a handful of people that can make that type of that type of counterattack attack." And Richard's like, he goes, "So what do we do?" And he goes, "Can you help me?" He goes, and then Richard goes, "This is the only time." He goes, "I know. Come on." And then they go back to the Batcave, and Alfred's like, "Master Richard." And they shake hands. He goes, "It's good to see you, Alfred, but I'm only here for the temporary reason." He goes, "I know, but it's still good to see you again." So they converse and everything, and Bruce just walks in and goes, "All right, we got to get down to business." He goes, "Of course." He goes, "Always down to business." He goes, "You said you want to be done with this, right?" He goes, "Enough of this. Richard, you can be angry at Bruce all you want. Bruce, do not push him away. You asked for his help. So why are you arguing?" And Bruce looks down and goes, "He's right." And then Richard looks at him and looks around and goes, "So is it true?" He sits down and goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Did you allow all those people to die?" And he stops, and you see his hand kind of shake a little bit, and he goes, "I was wrong." He starts typing on his computer and everything. And Richard walks over and goes, you didn't answer my question. Did you allow those people to die? Those criminals? What do you want from me?" He asks him, "What do you want from him?" He goes, "All I want is the truth. Why can't you just tell me the truth? Every time I ask you about something of this caliber, you give me some riddled answer like it's a fortune cookie." He goes, and then Bruce keeps looking at the screen. He goes, "And you always devolve yourself back to the mission. It's always the mission. He goes, and the moment he tries to finish his conversation, Bruce turns around and goes, "Yes, I did it. Jason's death broke me. Do you understand what I did?" And he goes, "I was so angry. I wanted to kill him. I want to kill the Joker. I want to put my hands around his throat and squeeze it completely open. But if I did that, I would be no better than him." And you're looking at Richard. He's sitting there going, "Whoa." He goes, I blamed a good man for death and destruction that I was causing, that Lex Luthor was causing. And I wanted to kill him. That's not the person that I want to be. That's not the legacy I want to leave behind. That is not what my mother and father died for. And you have Richard just looking down going, yeah. He goes, no, you don't understand. These are the lessons I tried to teach you. We have within ourselves to kill any person we want, to just get rid of them. And that's what I did. I took the low-hanging fruit. I made it easy. And I told myself it was the right thing to do. And you have Alfred just going, he's about to walk away. He goes, don't you dare leave, Alfred. He goes, do you understand the reason why I brought together the Justice League? Why I did what I did for the Justice League, for those group of heroes? When we stopped Steppenwolf, I did it as a penance, as a forgiveness for what I did. And I was going to hang it up. I was never going to put on this suit ever again, because there was no way that the Batman legacy should be mired in death and destruction. But through Superman, I saw hope. He didn't see the murderer that I used to be. He saw the hero that I can become. And that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to fix my mistakes. And you have Richard is looking at him going, looking at him, and he responds, I'm sorry. I am. He goes, I know you didn't know. Richard, parts of me cannot do this work anymore. But I have to. It could be easy for me just to walk away and just let the legacy of Batman die. But what have I always said? The never-ending struggle. The never-ending struggle. He goes, Lucius is dead. Jack's gone. Friends I've known since I took the corporation, they're all dead. My greatest friends, they're all gone. I lost Harvey. I don't know where Selena is. I don't even know if she wants to be with me. I'll actually take that out. Take that out. He doesn't. He talks about Selena. And Talia. Whatever the heck that was. He turns around. He turns in his. He sits down and he turns around. He turns the seat. He sits down and looks at Richard. And he looks at Richard. And goes, and I lost my family, my brother, and a very good friend. And you have Richard just going, I know I cannot fix what I did to you, but I'm asking you, can you help me? Yeah, I'll help you. And Richard agrees. He'll help him. He goes, but I need a suit. He goes, Alfred. He goes, I think I have the best design for you, Master Grayson. Something that I feel is what you need right now. So he walks off and he goes, let me get the schematics. He goes, and he looks at him and he goes, thank you. Turns it around and he goes back to the drawing board. He goes, okay, so this person has done this, and this. We know it's Jason. We got to find out what the heck is he doing. So you have Batman trying to piece together what the heck is he doing, and it's more in the fact of he's trying to find the Joker. He's getting Batman out, exposing him out there, so basically the Joker will come out of hiding and go after Batman. That's what he wants. But for some reason, the Joker's not coming out. And Batman knows this. He's like, wait a minute, why? He's making it where the Joker will come out. And he goes, well, why does he? The Joker's the one that killed him, of course. But the Joker's not biting the bait. I think he knows. He goes, then why don't you go? He goes, well, then let me find him. He goes, no. What I need you to do is I need you to shadow me as I'm looking for the Joker. Keep away. Keep far away. And the moment you see him, give me a signal. Do not use radio contact. He goes, okay, I got you. And that's when Bruce says, stay here for a little while. Let Alfred design you what you need, and then we'll make it. He walks off. He goes, hey, Bruce. Hey, the crack about a murder. I know deep down you're not a murderer. He goes, I understand how you. I understand. He goes. Don't worry about it, Dick. I am a murderer, and I have to accept that. And you're like, wow. He says, no, I am a murderer. I have to accept it. Ignoring it does not make it go away. So then you have Bruce, as Bruce Wayne. He goes back to his company, and he gets even more little breadcrumbs, and he knows that it's Jason. But he also knows that there's something else going on too, and he's getting hints that the Joker is around. He's just waiting for his time to pounce. So he plays the diligent playboy, does his thing. He calls up Clark and talks to Clark about Justice League things, and he gives Clark a hint that he does need help. And Clark says, huh, okay, well, I'll see what I can do. He goes, okay, hang up. I'm sorry, not Alfred, but Bruce goes into his little secret cave inside of the Wayne building, and uses the computer to link back up to his mansion, and basically utilizes that as a pinpoint. So he talks to Alfred, and he gives Alfred a little bit more of the technology he needs to create Richard's new suit. And Bruce goes out and he tries to deal with a lot of and figure out what the heck is going on, and that's when you get the Red Hood. He's going down into a slum, and you see some guys, rolling dice. They're playing dominoes and rolling dice, and then one guy's head explodes. And I don't mean literally; it doesn't explode. I mean, you see a bullet just goes right through his head, and he drops down. They're like, "What the?" They pull up the guns, and Jason's standing there in his Red Hood outfit. He goes, "Hey! I'm not here. I'm not here to be an enemy. I'm here to be a friend. But I can tell you right now, that guy right there, he's a snitch, and snitches get stitches." He goes, "What's your proof?" He throws down the photo evidence. He shows evidence that this guy was snitching to the police. "What do you want?" He goes, "I just want information. Where's Maroney?" He goes, "Maroney? Sal Maroney's not here." He goes, "Well, then I guess you guys are not useful." Click, and they're going, "Hey, whoa." He goes, "I know that I can kill every single one of you before you get those guns up. So I guess you are useless." And he starts shooting all of them and killing them, and he leaves one guy alive, and he tells him, "I know you know where Maroney is. Go find him and tell him that I'm looking for him." He goes, "Who are you?" He goes, "Simple. I'm the Red Hood." And he basically puts a massive bullet into his kneecap, and he screams in pain, and he walks out, and you're like, what the hell? And then you hear Maroney sitting there saying, "Okay, who the hell is this costume guy, and why the heck is he coming after me for?" And then that's when you hear the Joker say, "Because, friend, he knows that you're the one that's hiding me." He goes, not by my own volition." He goes, "Of course not." He goes, "I think I know who it is." So you have Jared Leto sitting there, doing his thing, not as hunka chunka, whatever, dude. So he's more sinister, more vicious and cruel, but he's very, very calm about it because he knows that Batman's gonna try to show up and save him, and they can finally have it out, And now you get a little bit more, story of the Joker and what caught him up to this, and that's when he goes off to go and find the Red Hood. So he says that he knows that he's looking for him, so let's make it easier for him to look for me. And then once he shows up, we'll kill him. Simple as that. They're like, "Oh God, okay, whatever, clown." He goes, "I love when a plan comes together So they initiate their plan, and you have Batman overhearing this and going, huh. And he walks off. You're like, what? He knew that Joker was there. Okay, that makes sense because Alfred even says this. So what makes you think that Sal Maroni had him in the first place? He goes, easy. Sal Maroni never. He goes, Sal Maroni always goes to this area. He always always goes to this area on Sundays, and he stopped going. He goes, yes, but this is a ritual he always does. He never misses it for 20 years. He always goes to mass. He stopped going to mass. He's a devout, even though he's a crime guy. He's a Luigi. He doesn't. He never misses mass. Never. But this is the first time in a long time he missed mass. So Batman had concluded that, hey, keep an eye on Maroni, and he overheard Maroni and Joker talking. So he's like, okay, he knows that Maroni is hiding Joker because the Joker has something on Maroni that basically will get Maroni killed by the rest of the crime families, because Maroni's been stealing money from the rest of the crime families and harbinging it towards his own funds. So basically, he's stealing from the mob and putting it towards his own coffers to keep himself in power. So that's how you basically set up for the Joker. So now you get Richard, who's looking at the new suit, and he's going, "This is cool." And Alfred's like, "Some of my best work, is it?" And he goes, and that's when Batman shows up and says, "All right, is the suit ready?" He goes, "It's not has not been field tested." Well, it's gonna be now. He goes, "Maroni's making his move, and so is the Joker, and so is the Red Hood. We need to find him now." So then they go through the whole situation. Joker confronts the Red Hood. They have the huge thing between Red Hood, Joker, and Batman, and the revelation of that he is the second Robin, and Joker does the same thing they did in Return of the Red Hood storyline, the Red Hood Saga, and that's when Bruce tells him to his face that you can't keep doing this. This is not what the way is, and he says, "Nope, but this is what I'm gonna do. Your city is plagued, and it needs to be purged. And the first thing needs to happen is you need to kill the Joker. It needs to happen. And if you don't do it, then this city is gonna be mine, because everything that you're doing right now is not worth anything." And then Joker, and Bruce looks at him and says, "You can't do this." He goes, "Really? I'm only doing what you trained me to do." And Joker's in there going, hmm. So now you have Batman being told by the Red Hood that he's gonna kill. I'm sorry, he's not gonna kill. He's not gonna do it. So the Red Hood and him have this massive battle, and Bruce is not going to fight him. And it's a self-reflection. It's now showing the past when it shows Bruce training Jason, and how deep and how beautiful their relationship was, and how much Bruce was very astounded by Jason's aptitude towards violence, basically. He's understanding it a lot better than Richard ever did. And it shows, and it's also paralleling with what the heck is going on between him and Jason right now. So they fight it out, and Joker gets away, and at the very end, Batman beats him down. Use a maneuver that Jason invented. He used a maneuver that Jason believed he's the only one to use, and basically Batman used it to defeat him. So when he's sitting there, looking at Jason, I mean, Jason's looking at him going, "So you're gonna side with the clown over me? You're gonna side with him over your own friend and your own son?" And Batman looks at him and goes, "I failed you, but I won't fail you again." And he hits him so hard he knocks him out. So he walks over to the Joker, and the Joker escapes, And the Joker looks at him and says, "So you're telling me that it was now father versus son? I can't believe it." Woo! And he throws a bomb a smoke bomb and gets away. Batman runs over and he tries to go back and get Jason, and Jason's now gone. So towards the end of the movie, you have Commissioner Gordon going in, using the bat signal. Batman shows up and Batman asks him, and Gordon asks him, "So are you gonna tell me what the heck has been going on for the past few days?" He goes, and Batman sits down. He puts his hand out, and Gordon walks over and sits down. And he tells him everything. He tells him that it's his second Robin. He doesn't tell his name is Jason Todd. He says it's my second Robin, and I need time and I need you to do what you have to do to take him down. If it means he has to die, it has to die, because he won't go down. He will go down fighting. He won't go down easy. And he's like, "Are you kidding me? I mean, you're highly trained." He goes, "Yeah, but I have a lot of owning up to do, and one of them is to repair a friendship with an old friend." He stands up, and you have him walk over, and he says to Commissioner Gordon, "I hope I didn't lose your faith." And Gordon walks over to him. He goes, "You know what happened all those years ago?" He goes, "You know what happened during that whole situation with Superman? I never blamed you. I knew that the death of Robin, the death of that boy, broke you, and you wanted to kill the Joker. Heck, I think all of us want to kill that maniac. But you see, the one thing that you did that made me know that you were redeemable was you didn't do it. And I put my faith in you. I know that you didn't that you killed, I know about this whole situation with those criminals, and it's a sad fate, but it would have been worse if you killed the Joker. That clown deserves to die, but not by that type of justice. By something else. And by the peers. And by the law." He looks at him, he goes, "Thanks, Jim." He goes, "No, thank you. Now get out of here before I change my mind about arresting you." He goes, and as he turns around, he goes, "But wait, what?" And he's already gone. And he goes, "Son of a..." All right. He's just, whatever, dude. So he walks off, and then you see basically Batman, about to hit his car. He's about to go to his car, and he looks up. He stops, looks up, and turns around, and there's Superman just standing there, and he goes, like, "What do you want?" He goes, "What can I?" He goes, "How can I help?" He goes, Bruce look at him and goes, "What do you need?" He goes, "Well, it's not what I need, it's what you need. How can I help you?" And he goes, "I think I'm okay." He goes, "Anything you want to talk about?" "Yeah, get in." He goes, "Um, oh, two people. All right." So he gets in, and he goes, "So what do you want to talk about?" He goes, "Shh," and he closed the door. He goes, "I'm going to tell you a story about two good boys, and they met a grumpy uncle." And and you're like, "What?" He goes, "A grumpy uncle?" He goes, "Yeah, a grumpy uncle." And he drives off, and he's telling them the story of Dick Grayson and Jason Todd and what happened with them, and it's showing the budding of their relationship, and that's the end of the movie. And then the post credit scene, you see Jason Todd walking into a room, takes off his helmet, puts it down, and he walks over, and you see a huge wall, and it shows Bruce Wayne, it shows Batman, it also shows Superman, Clark Kent, Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, Arthur Curry as Aquaman, all these things, and he's sitting there going, "The Justice League. Keep your friends, Bruce, but also keep your enemies even closer." I'm gonna clean up this city. The rot and the filth that's spreading out like diseases amongst the people. They're all gonna go. So then he walks over, pulls the guns on the ground, and you see him open it up, and you see him. He's in like almost like a rundown motel, and he's looking out and he says, "I'm gonna protect this city." You may have been able to finally clever your way out of not being a murderer, Bruce, but deep down, that's what you are, like me, a murderer. Two peas in a pod. He closes the screen, and he's sitting there smiling, and he sits back, and that's when you hear, and you're like, oh wow, his eyes open up like this. You're like, what? And then you see basically then you have another scene, and you have Deathstroke walking up. You see Deathstroke coming in, and he's walking in, he's sitting down in a chair, and the lights come on, and you hear Amanda Waller saying, all right, Deathstroke, you may have the training, you may have all this, but realize this, I am the wall, and nothing gets past me this time. And he's sitting there going, uh-huh. Well, I give it about 15 minutes, and I'm going to get a phone call, and I'm getting out of here. She goes, nope, no one knows you here. And if they even do, you're not getting out. And then out of nowhere, you hear a phone call, and the guy answers it and goes, yeah, it's the President of the United States. She goes, what? He's sitting there just looking at it, and she's like, yes, Mr. President. Yes, of course. I understand. Yes. And she hangs up, and she goes, I don't know how you did this. He's sitting there smiling, going, I have friends in high places. And you're like, what the heck? And then out of nowhere, you see the phone go down, and it shows Lex Luthor. And he's like, I'd like to thank this little device, making me sound like whoever the heck I want. Thank you, Lex Tech. And he's sitting on a boat, and he's like, now, who else should I bring into this league? And you're like, what the heck? And that's the end of the movie. And that's how I would do it. And like I said, you have all these villains. You also have Catwoman. You have the talk with him about Catwoman, but there's nothing that really shows. It's like it shows a little bit of a backstory between him and Catwoman. He still goes after Penguin, and Penguin is still, he does his thing, but he leaves a lot of his villains alone, and they're all coming out and playing. Now the thing with Poison Ivy is she's still where she is, and there's nothing going to change about her for a little while, but that's how the movie is supposed to evolve. And you're like, what the heck? So did the Joker go after Jason Todd and all this and that? We don't know what happened at the end of it, but the way I would write it is, it's not the Joker. It's in his head. He's losing it. Joker is not going to go after him. But that's how I would do it. You still get Deathstroke. Deathstroke is being part of the new League of Super, the Injustice League, and you're building it up. You're building up the fact that Batman that we're getting Robin, we're getting Nightwing, and also you're building up the Red Hood Saga, because the next movie is going to be the Red Hood is going to take down Black Mask, and Batman's in the middle of all of this because he's trying to get Jason to not go over that path. He has yet to. He's killing people, yes, but he's not irredeemable. He's not truly irredeemable. And he's not going to give up on that. And you have Richard now getting a brand new suit and about to take his codename as Nightwing, and now going back out there to start saving lives and becoming a hero again. And you have also, I would do the Green Arrow movie. The Green Arrow movie. And the Green Arrow movie would be literally Bruce talking to an older Oliver Queen, and a lot of the hell breaks out because there's a lot of story about what happened with Batman and the Green Arrow, and also with Dinah Lance. So that's something I will tap into a little bit later. If you guys want me to do it, hell, give me some views on this. Pass it off to your friends. Like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Hit the bell. I like doing this stuff, giving out some ideas, um, because I feel that it actually helps me, and it also helps a lot of people if they like it, and also hell, it's also helps the cause of, maybe even if Ben Affleck ever saw this, or hell, even WB see it, hell, adapt this into a movie. That'd be great because I think that the Jason Todd story should be one of the main focal points of Batman's story, his arc to get him back into becoming Batman again, and not as a plague like the way we know that it is in the comics, but it's an adaptation from the core story, but you're getting more with it. So I'm glad that you guys. I hope you guys like it. It's one of my good ideas about how to do the Batman. Um, and I do have an idea how to do Green Arrow. Green Arrow will be really really fun. Also, it's a swashbuckling adventure. There is some comedy, but it also takes a lot of things seriously because this version of Green Arrow is an older Green Arrow. He's older. He's way more weathered than he's closer to how Stephen Amell does his Arrow, how he does his Green Arrow. Very weighed with a lot of the regret of what happened, of the things he's ever done, and also the fact of what happened between him and the Black Canary, and how is he going to make himself back into a hero again. And those are the things that we want to see. I don't want to see a hero already made, and then he's being a hero. I want to see a broken hero become the hero again. That is things we have never seen before, and it gives us much more depth to the character with a lot of history and a lot of weight. So, and I still love Ben Affleck's portrayal. I think it's one of the best portrayals. And I think that a lot of people should appreciate that. It is something different than what we've ever seen. Um, and a lot of people don't understand that, or they're not willing to actually give it a chance. I am. I may not like something, but I'm willing to give it a chance for the director. And the director did not hit it out of the park with me, I will say something. So, like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe down below, hit the bell. Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments. I would love to hear what you guys want, positives or negatives. I mean, I'm always flexible when it comes down to my ideas. So you guys have a great one. And like Batman always says, I'm Batman. Thanks.